This is a short video to just unpack our task. So task 1 is to basically for the philosophy, beliefs and values of the learner, but the task itself is to compare and contrast two learning theorists. Okay, the philosophical underpinnings and implications. So secondary content, this is a primary one, so it's either primary or secondary. And here's the learners that you've gone through, and you compare two of those. 1,500 words. Let's go through. Is there any elaborations? Not particularly anymore. Now, it's always important to have an idea of the rubric before you start writing. And so what is there? So criteria 1, investigation of the learning theories, reflections and implication for the practice in the classroom, and from a Christian worldview, and then how well have you written. So there's really only 3 things. Compare and contrast of the theories, how do you apply it in your classroom, and what's this got to do philosophically and alignment with Christian worldview. So those 3 things are what we're after, and to write appropriately with a good paragraph formation, good academic language, third person, reference style, according to the limits of the task. So that's what we're looking at. So I want to give you a couple of little examples that we can draw upon. So 600 words within limit. This one just uses an essay format. And I've just put these notes here. It's an introduction. And notice in there it talks about both theories and so on. And throughout I've just highlighted one. There's heaps of academic references and support for their position. So it shows that they've read broadly. So there's the introduction. And now they go the first compare and contrast. Difference between. Okay, whereas Piaget looks at that, so on. Vygotsky believes this, and they do, the two theories have different opinions on. I believe in the writing style they needed a paragraph break, because really, unless you're writing more than one, or an extended elaboration of one point, use one paragraph, one point. And I've just made a little suggestion. Now you're going on to something else. So let's have another paragraph. So make your paragraphs in that 8-line, 12-line maximum. So I think that person could have written a little bit more, broken it up, not just write anymore, and so on. So there's a couple of compares and contrasts, there's about 3 or 4 there, and then they say, well, okay, here's the application applied to the classroom, and it unpacks what that might be. Notice they've unpacked it with some academic support. Now, paragraph break again. And then they've said, well, what's the Christian worldview? Well, here's some analysis on where the worldview or the philosophical assumptions and how it aligns with the Christian worldview. And then we've had another one here, Vygotsky's application and Vygotsky's worldview. And it finishes with, has a comparison summary. So they top and tailed the structure of their essay with an introduction and a summary, and they unpacked Piaget and its application and its worldview, Vygotsky's application and worldview. And in the mix of all that, they've done comparison as the task requires. They've got references in the appropriate format. Beautiful. Another exemplar, and I think it does it slightly differently, and maybe you might be yours, that use a table of contents. So they've intentionally used headings and subheadings here. Introduction, comparison, and again, academic justification is in here throughout. Smaller paragraphs, which I like, different references between them. So they're mixing up the two together and comparing the two, which is the class required. They've got a graphic which you are applicable to, and it's referenced. So that gives a visual affordance to the task. And this is probably too long a paragraph, but they then given again more compare and contrast. So have they tackled the two theories? Yes. Have they done a compare and contrast? Yes. I'm after the application now and after the Christian worldview. Okay, implications of pedagogical practices. It's its application. Here it is. Again, again where it is, and the marker here said, give me some specifics. And Christian worldview, Vygotsky's classroom, and worldview. So this person did a slightly different structure, but lots of similarities as well. They did a compare and contrast between the two, and in doing so have elaborated what they are about. And then they've both done an application in the classroom and a Christian worldview. So both of them, and let's check their references, Let's see how they go on this one too. Yeah. Appropriate. Get rid of the URL, make it no link, actually, technically. And again, a good range, alphabetical order, and so on. In-text references are great as well. So that's just a short little elaboration about the task, and it's not difficult. You need to just follow the rubric and patch those structures